Hi, Charlie Kosorik, Jackbench Woodworking, and today I am in the first stages of making a slab coffee table. I have this slab, walnut slab. It is dandy. It is 4.5 inches thick on one end, 5.5 inches thick on the other end. It's a cookie. In other words, it's a slice out of a tree, so the grain is radial. And it's very nice looking piece of wood here. It's in pretty good shape. It's got one crack, but I think I can fill that. I've got some cool ideas on how to do that. But today I'm going to flatten it. Anyway, get going. Okay, so after I lower the bench down to make it easier to reach, the first thing I want to do is make the rails that the sled will ride on. What I'll do is I'll clamp those rails directly down onto the sides of my bench. I glued some little tabs on the ends of the rails so that I had more clamping surface and the rails would be more stable when they were clamped down on the bench. It actually worked with just a piece of plywood. I could clamp it, but I was a little nervous about them falling off or getting knocked loose as I was routing, so I decided to put these tabs on there. While the glue is drying on those tabs for the rails, I started working on the sled that the router will be bolted into. For the sled is really just 3 pieces of wood, you know, a bottom and then 2 rails on the side that are braces that make it solid. I happen to have a piece of 1/2 inch melamine that I use for the base, for the bottom of the sled. And then I use 3/4 inch plywood for the sides. I cut a little relief on the back side of the sled on the bottom to help with dust collection. I happen to have this nice hood with a 4-inch fitting on it that I connected directly to my dust collection system. Okay, so here's a picture of how it looks with the router hooked up to my dust collection system. So the last things I have to do before I can actually get started is to install the rails on the bench. And the bench is already level, so the rails are automatically level. And then the final thing before I actually do start routing is to level the slab itself, so that as I'm routing across, I'm taking off the high points and working my way down to a flat surface. Okay, so here I go. I used a climb cut as I was moved the router across the top of the slab. This helped get a little cleaner finish on the wood, and it also helped to direct the chips into the dust hood. I got the idea to use a climb cut from an Instagram post by BJ Mac Woodwork. He's also got a great YouTube channel called Learning Woodworking, so check that out if you get a chance, and I will have a link to his channel, of course, in the description for this video. The dust hood on the back of the sled prevented me from routing all the way to the very end side of the slab, so then I had to go back and clean up that little strip towards the end. Okay, it's done. It looks great. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and it was even easier than I thought it was going to be. I started out, by the way, trying to clean up the surface with my random orbit sander, and it didn't work worth a darn, because it was leaving a wavy surface. So I switched over to using my little Makita belt sander, and it worked great. So I would recommend using a belt sander on an end grain slab instead of a random orbit. So I'm very excited with how this project is going. I'm so excited that before I even finished the video, I've already started doing some test spots for the finish on this to figure out what the best finishing schedule will be for the final table. Anyway, with this video, if you've seen any of my other videos, I'm sure you notice that I use a little different style of editing on here, and I'm very interested to know if that was effective, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. So please leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think and what I could do better my next videos, because I am going to do a whole series of videos on this table. And speaking of this table, I wrote an article. I know this video went kind of fast, so I wrote an article with a lot of the details of things like which router bit I used and stuff like that. And that article is on the blog on my website. There's a link down below, so if you want to know more of the details, please check that out. So anyways, please like the little thumbs up button, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you watching. Thanks so much.